Oh,
It's a good ball played in for Tony Morley. Oh, he missed it! It is! Peekaboo! Villa in the lead!
evening, Aston Villa fans, and welcome to the Villa Forever podcast. I am your host, Chad Williams. Please subscribe, and you can follow me on Spotify, Amazon Music, and Apple Podcasts. Let's spread awareness of Duchenne muscular dystrophy. Tonight, a very exciting show lined up. I'll be doing the season preview, and also have two very special guests on the show tonight. I'll introduce them. We have special guest Justin Hawthorne from the UTV fan channel, and I always enjoy listening to Justin's opinions. And we have Ben Clarke, who is a good friend of mine, and he's been a show regular on my show for some time now. We will be looking ahead to Aston Villa's 2024-25 campaign, where they'll be playing Champions League football for the first time, and it'll be Unai Emery's second full season in charge. And also, I'll give Ben Clarke a good plug. Ben Clarke is a Labour Party councillor for Wilnecote in Tamworth. Also, hopefully, it'll be another season to remember. Let's embrace it and enjoy the ride. It's great to have both of you on the show this evening. How are you?
Very good, mate.
Both
Thanks
of you.
for asking me to come on.
Yeah,
very
no
good.
problem.
Yeah, thanks, Chad. Good to be back. I think it's fourth or fifth one now, is it? So that's fantastic.
Well, Justin, it was great to finally meet you in person. It was
Yes.
a pleasure.
For Paul McGrath live event,
Yeah.
wasn't it? Yeah, really
Yeah,
good
the
night. that was, wasn't
Aston Inn, that great night, yeah.
it? Yeah, good night.
And
Enjoyed it.
Justin, how is the Jockey Potato Shop going?
Very good, thanks, mate. Thanks for asking. Yes, we've moved premises this year to a new premises in the Grace Church Centre, Sutton Coldfield, and we've been trading for a couple of weeks now, but it's all going really good. Thanks for asking.
Well, after pop and see you, there's one there.
There's a spud with your name written all over it, Chad.
Oh, thank you. And Ben, it's great to have you on the show again as well.
Yeah, thank you for having me back. I must be doing something right. Let's say fourth or fifth time. Yeah, fantastic to see you again, Chad.
Well, let's get into the season preview then. It's not long. The season starts on the 17th of August against West Ham. So I'll ask you, Justin, first. So what are you expecting this season from Aston Villa?
Well, league title, that's what I'm expecting, Chad, this season.
Well,
Why not?
Yeah, very good. Well, yeah, 100%.
No, what am I expecting? It's going to be very difficult, isn't it, to replicate what we did last season? But I'm very hopeful we can do that. I think we've seen more incomings and outgoings than I probably expected when the last season finished. So I think that will impact a little bit on sort of our form going into the season. But I think that the key factor in all of this is Unai Emery, isn't it, and how well he's managed everything since he's arrived at Villa. how well he's managed to put, a team on the pitch that's played some fantastic football. He's got a very strong philosophy on football. He's got a very strong work ethic, and I think the players have bought into it magnificently. And whilst we have seen, a few players leave, ones that probably we didn't want to see leave, but we understand why they have gone, I think the structure that's in place at Aston Villa now, I think that makes it a lot easier for new players to come in and just settle in very quickly into the new setup. Pre-season, results-wise, hasn't been probably what everybody would hope for, but I think ultimately I don't really think that matters that much. I think it's important, we get minutes in the legs, we get fitness levels up. It's been very stop-start, obviously, with the Euros and the Copper and players, sort of only just really got everybody back now with a week to go. So, we saw a much improved performance against Bilbao last night. So I think going into the season, you know me, Chad, I'm always positive. So I think
you got to be. It's a good attitude to have.
Yeah, I think so. I think, we're going to the season, for me, in a very good position, in a very good place with some really good players. I still think there's one or two new players to come. But I'm very hopeful of another exciting, successful season.
Well, with Unai Emery, I completely trust what that guy is doing for our football club. I completely back him with everything I do. And what he's achieved at Villa is something special as well.
Yeah, I would totally agree. I think, I've seen a lot of managers in my time, Chad. I'm quite old now. But he's already, after 18 months, up there in the top 2 or 3, and potentially, he could go to the top of the tree with what I hope will happen over the next few seasons. I hope he's here for a very long time. That will mean he's very successful, and that hopefully means trophies as well. So, yeah, I've never trusted a manager as much as I trust him.
Well, excited for the future as well. 5 years he's got in charge. And I think it's going to be a very special season for the fans. It's all about making nice memories. And we're in Europe's elite after 42 years. Yeah, Justin, have you watched Villa in Europe's elite, or was you not old enough for that?
I am old, but I'm not quite that old, unfortunately. I was born in 76, so the sort of 81, 82 era was just before my time. I really started going down Villa regularly at the end of the 80s, so 88, 89. Unfortunately, my strong memories of Villa was them getting relegated and coming back up and fighting again. So it's just, I can always say we've won the European Cup in my lifetime, but I can't claim to have had much memory and recollection of those times and those games. But I've been lucky enough over the last few years to get quite friendly with quite a few of the 82 team. And they're fantastic guys. But with the greatest respect to them, I think it's time we wrote another chapter in Aston Villa's history now. We can always, look back on that team and be forever grateful for what they did. But I think for a club of our size, it's time to start putting more trophies in the cabinet.
Well, I think at Villa Park, hearing that Champions League theme tune, it's going to be very, very emotional.
It is, mate, it is.
I think the new format, you guarantee at least 8 games. So that's gonna be great. And I think we need a good run, hopefully in the competition. Who knows how far we're going to go? But I think with Unai Emery, we'll carry on improving. With Unai, I think we're going to keep that winning mindset. Ben, what do you make of Villa? What are you expecting for the new season, Ben?
I think expectations have been set with that kit announcement video with Ozzy Osbourne and Geezy Butler. That was absolutely fantastic. Can't top that. But yeah, I think it's going to be a tough one to call. I think there's been a lot of churn at the club, and I don't think we can understate the loss of Douglas Luiz. I know he wasn't as good with Kamara, but I think there's a big hole to fill there. I think a strong Champions League run would be fantastic. Unai has got the pedigree and the experience, I think, to deliver that.
Yeah.
And in terms of other competition within the Premier League, it's been a pretty quiet transfer window. I was just having a scroll through all the club's transfers today, and I think we've probably been the most active. So we'll see what moves are made late on and whether that will affect how well we're going to do. I think the template for how to not follow up a European season was set by Newcastle, and I think the strategy that Unai was implementing is one to not replicate what they've done. And it's a focus on squad depth and squad players as well as a strong starting 11. So that I think that's the right way to go, and yeah, fingers crossed.
Well, Emery with Villarreal, he got to a Champions League semi-final. There's no reason why he can't do it with Villa. And I think, going back to what Justin said, I think we could challenge the title. I wouldn't rule it out. Like, if you look at last season, there was a time when we were challenging for the title, and we couldn't really close. So yeah, you got a dream.
I think what Unai was brought in is the art of the possible, which is good to be good to have at the club.
But I think Unai Emery, he should tell the Villa players there's a chance for them to be heroes. It's a real chance for them. Big opportunity. But I just think the big thing is we perform consistently. We've got to deal with the level of expectation. Because when you're playing for a big club, and when it becomes successful, it's part of what you got to deal with. I think Ben as well. That they got to embrace the moment, enjoy the ride.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, Justin, I'll ask you the next question. So, how do we improve more this season?
It's a tough one, isn't it? Because how do you improve on what was a really good season last year? But I think there is areas of play and the way we do play that we can improve. I think defensively, that's an area you probably wouldn't have been happy with last season. We conceded far too many goals. It is, yeah. I mean, I know there was a massive upheaval. You know, the Tyrone Mings injury in the first game of the season was a huge blow. And I would think that threw a lot of problems into the camp. You know, the way he was probably going to use Pau Torres was going to maybe ease him in at the start of the season, but he basically came in and played all the time when he was fit. You know, and other injuries didn't help when Dia. But I think that the structure of the back four, the way we play, you know, it maybe took its toll a little bit with the amount of goals we conceded, and it maybe took them a bit of time to get used to that way of playing, you know, the sort of false right back, if you like, and then he eventually sort of constantly became the mainstay at right back. But I think the signing of Maatsen definitely points towards a more attacking left-hand side, and I do still think we'll sign another centre half.
We need another centre half.
I think so. I mean, I did think that Lamar Bogard played excellently last night. And I really like Swinkles as well. I think that a couple of really good young defenders. Are they ready for Premier League action? Not regular action. I think they'd be, I think at least one of them will be retained within the 21s, as backup in case we do hit one or two injuries. But I think another sort of first choice centre half will be coming in. And if it's not permanent, I think maybe we might see a return to another loan player, maybe. But I think defensively is the area we need to probably improve the most on. Midfield-wise, yes, we've seen Douglas Luiz go out, but I do like Onana. I think he brings a different profile to the club.
Well, I think he's an ideal player to have. Onana, I like the way he presses. He likes to get tackles in there as well.
Yeah. I think whilst Douglas Luiz gives us that more of an outlet, attacking-wise, I think Onana's presence in that role is something we've lacked for a very long time. You know, a real big, strong, athletic, physical central midfielder that can play a bit as well, which he can. And I think once Kamara's back, the two of them will really gel nicely in that role, and that will give extra sort of cover to the back line, if you like. I mean, if we do see this sort of attacking left back, which we've seen, and almost three central defenders playing, then having those two in front shielding that back four, you would think would give us probably more security and maybe help, conceding less goals. And I think he also gives us a huge threat in the opposition box as well.
We mean Onana and Tielemans, the Belgian double pivots. You couldn't even try that.
No, I think that's probably a huge option to start the season, definitely. I know we've seen McGinn sitting there as well, but I think that will probably be the way we'll go with Tielemans and Onana, because we've got, a lot of attacking options now in that three in behind Ollie Watkins. I think it's very interesting to see how Buendia sits and plays and where he sort of finds himself in the opening few games of the season. Bidace looks really, really sharp again last night. Ramsey looks like he's back to full fitness. I'm very excited about Morgan Rogers. He's had a really good pre-season.
Oh, I love Morgan Rogers.
Yeah, we've got lots of attacking options, and I still think, whilst there's a question mark over Duran, I probably, if you push me, I'd probably say I still expect him not to be a Villa player come the end of the window, which would mean another attacking player will be coming in, I would think.
Maybe Joe Felix.
You never know. Yeah, I think there's still a chance of that, yeah. But yeah, I think we can improve. There's lots of places to improve, and I think that's another good side of Unai Emery, that he doesn't ever see a finished article. He always sees improvements in everyone, in every position, in every aspect of the way he looks at the game. I think he's always questioning and pushing himself as well. What can I do better? How can I make this team better? And by default, that helps all the players do the same, doesn't it? So yeah, looking forward to it.
We'll go back to what you said about Tyrone Mings. We miss his leadership and communication. That's what I think was missing in defence last season, because he was very vocal at the back.
Yeah.
With Tyrone Mings, though, I don't think it's fully fit. I don't think it's fully fit yet, though.
No, I don't think he's quite there yet, but I think he's close enough to, I would say, maybe pick up a position on the bench, within the first sort of 4 or 5 weeks of the season. I think they'll look to ease him in gently. I mean, with councillor and Power anyway, I think that's your sort of starting two anyway. That's where I think this extra centre half, because we don't really know what's happening with Carlos. He wasn't in the squad again last night. So, yeah, lots of questions still to answer, but, I think we'll get there.
Ben, where do you think we need to improve?
I think squad depth can be a huge issue when you're playing in Europe. I think we found that last season. I think we started to flag a bit towards the end of the season, particularly in the European competition. I think that the signings that we've made are starting to address that issue. But yeah, I agree that another centre half and perhaps another forward as well if Duran does go. The one that stuck out to me was on an improvement is being able to defend a lead. against other big clubs, because my mind goes back to the Man United game and the Chelsea game last season.
We threw it away.
Yeah, and shoring up the defence and the game management in those big fixtures is an area for development, and we'll see what Onana brings with his game in sort of building the confidence up at the back four and shoring up that defence, particularly when we're defending a lead.
It would nice to keep more clean sheets as well.
Yeah, I'm sure Emmy wants to get his clean sheet record up and perhaps a Golden Glove.
Good player like Martinez. He's the best goalkeeper in the world. So he don't want to be conceding goals all the time.
No, he always has a look of frustration. Even if we're winning, he doesn't like giving away those clean sheets.
I'll tell you what also I think was a concern last season. Defending set pieces. I think we struggled at that, I think.
Yeah, and it'd be interesting to see what Onana, as Justin was saying, what Onana can bring in defending the box and attacking the opposition's box as well at set pieces.
Yeah, because Austin McPhee, he's a very good set piece coach. And the attacking corners and set piece have been very good. It's just defending them, I think. I'm sure we will improve on it, though, I think.
Yeah, have faith in Emery.
Yeah, trust the process, yeah. And yeah, I think with Austin McPhee, he'll work on it in the training ground as well.
Yeah.
Whilst Justin, so what do you think our target will be this season?
I think to win a trophy. I think that Emery will want to win a trophy this season. I think he almost won't. I mean, obviously he wants a big trophy, but I think he would take any trophy next year. That's very important now to add silverware and stay in and amongst where we were sort of last season and the season before. I think we'll want to be in the European places all season. I think he'll want to get deep in the trophies, and I think he'll want to, just the level of quality and where we're at, he wants to retain. I don't think he'll want to see a drop off at all. He want to see us in the top six in the Premier League all season and go deep in at least one of the cup competitions and do ourselves justice in the Champions League. I think if we're all honest, we're not going to win it. It'd be lovely.
Oh, no, we're not going to.
But do ourselves justice, go as deep as we possibly can, and just enjoy it. Enjoy it as an experience. But I don't want it to be the last time we do this. I don't want to be one season and out. And the club, I know for a fact, the club don't want that.
Yes.
They want us to be continuously competing in the top competition, which is the Champions League.
No, I don't like it about that. A lot of the media are saying, give us the Newcastle comparison. We're nothing like Newcastle. It's completely different.
It is, but I think the problem is that when you've got additional European... I think the problem Newcastle had, if I'm honest, last season was they went in cold into Europe. They hadn't had any sort of previous seasons.
Straight away, that's it. They went straight into it.
Yeah, and they went into the elite European competition, didn't they? Whereas we've had a season now of getting used to playing sort of Thursday nights, weekends, and we've done pretty well. Yeah, we've done pretty well coming off the back of the European games. So I think that will stand us in good stead. I think we've got a more experienced manager in Europe than Eddie Howe was. And I think we've got a really good set of players. We managed to navigate last season with 3 horrific injuries and other problems throughout the whole season.
You managed it really well.
Exactly. So I think that'll stand us in good stead. And I think as long as we're not as unlucky as we was last year with injuries, I think we'll be fine.
That's a good win. Newcastle. They had a lot of injuries as well. Last season they did. Well, we got it better. The team at Newcastle. They were out for the season. Yeah, I think Emery, though, he's got Champions League experience. Well, you know what I think? The main target for Unai, I think, we're trying to get in the top four again. But it's going to be difficult to do it again. It'd be amazing achievement if we could, though.
Absolutely.
And like you said, Justin, as well, it'd be great for the fans to win silverware. We haven't done it since 1996.
A long time. Too long.
Yeah. Well, hopefully that we can undo the curse. Well, also, I was going to say that I think Unai Emery as well, he thrives on Champions League football. It's what he loves doing. So he'll prioritise, I think, the Premier League and Champions League. If we can keep those two as the priority, I think. There may be then try and get a good run in one of the competitions and try and win one of them. Well, Ben, I was going to say to you, Ben, that with the current squad we've got, are you happy with the new additions to the squad?
Yeah, I think it's been a positive window. Some big names as well, Maatsen and Arna. But the transfer sort of weirdly that I've liked the most is Ross Barkley, which I think I'm probably only the Villa fan that's going to say that. Because I just think it demonstrates a recognition on the squad depth issue that I spoke about earlier. I think he brings top-level experience. He is in the twilight of his career, so won't be expected to start every game. But I think it's an intelligent signing for a small price. So yeah, it was a no-brainer, really. Hoping Onana can fill the gap that Douglas Luiz has left behind. And as you say, he's a very different player. So it'd be interesting to see how Unai adapts the team to fit it around him. But yeah, I think it's been a positive window.
Viewing Douglas Luiz, do you think we still haven't really replaced him? When you say that Onana, is he a like-for-like replacement? Yeah.
From what I've seen, no, I think he's a completely different type of player.
Yeah, he's not really
probably shoring up that defensive side more so than the attacking threat that came through Douglas Luiz, particularly in the transition play. But he offers different threats elsewhere, like I say, with set pieces and his height and his athleticism. So it'd be really, really interesting to see what Unai Emery does.
But Douglas Luiz, I think, it's for PSR reasons. But I think with Douglas Luiz, you miss his creativity. But I think he's replaceable, though.
Yeah, and I think it will come from different areas in the squad. Like as Morgan Rogers gets more confident, we saw Philogene last night. I think it's going to come from other places, and with Buendia coming back as well, that would be like a new signing.
You're going to be linked with that. Is it by Banya or something? One of the midfielders, I think we're linked with.
Right.
But with Douglas Luiz, though, if you look at the end of last season, he wasn't as good.
Yeah.
His performances dipped.
Yeah,
So I don't think it'll be a massive loss, I don't think.
So we can see this as an opportunity rather than a loss.
Well, what you said about Ross Barkley, for Luton Town last season, he was our standout performer.
Yeah, I think in his new role as sitting further back and sort of dictating play, not using his legs as much, I think he'll have something to offer the Villa team in that sort of squad player role. He's experienced. And yeah, I just think he's a very, very smart signing.
The Ross Barkley for Chelsea, he played the Champions League for Chelsea.
Yeah.
But yeah, for us, I think it's been a busy transfer window. I think we brought in a few Champions League proven players. including Ian Martin, I think. And he got Borussia. He was in the Borussia Dortmund team that got against the final against Real Madrid. So that shows his quality on it as well. And Ian Martin was in the Champions League team of the season. And he's still young as well. So Unai can develop him. Yeah, Justin, what do you think of the Djokovic?
Well, to be honest, I was just thinking he's the one I'm really looking forward to after watching him in pre-season. I know we signed him in January, but we loaned him back, didn't we? And we've only really got hold of him now. He looks a real player. I mean, that run he did last night against Bilbao, and he took the ball off the keeper and just knocked it past two of their players and ran around the outside of him. It was like watching Gareth Bale, wasn't it, in his prime? He's got pace to burn. I think his final end product probably could improve a little bit because he got into a really good position in that move, and he didn't really deliver either a good ball in or have a go at goal. But I think at 18 years of age, the lad's got huge potential. You can see what
He could be a superstar.
I agree. I really do agree. I think he's got huge potential, and I think he's got a massive ceiling. And I think we've really unearthed a real gem of a player there. And I think he'll definitely be in and around the squad this season. And I think he'll be pushing Matty Cash very, very hard for a starting position. I think he'll get minutes this season, and I'm really looking forward to it. He seems fearless, which is a great attribute to have for any player. But an 18-year-old coming from a different country into a big Premier League club like us, he looks like he's thriving on it, and he can't wait to get going. So yeah, one to look forward to seeing, definitely.
Well, he played for Red Star Belgrade in the Champions League. So I think he might even play a few Champions League games. And you know what I like about him as well? He whips in good crosses. What else do you like?
Yeah, I think he's as I say, I think he's got a lot of potential. I think he's got a very high ceiling, and I think he's at the right place to develop, isn't he? He's got the right manager to sort of to work out, how he's going to get the best out of him, how is he going to fit into our system, what's he going to do to get in our team. And I think right back was definitely a position last season where we felt we could maybe, we were weak. We never really had any like-for-like cover for Matty Cash. I know Conser played there a lot, but he's a different profile of player, isn't he? So I think, I'm really, really excited. I'm really excited to see what he can do this season.
And the Djokovic as well. He injects a lot of energy. And he's always getting forward. That's what I really like about him as well.
Yeah, I agree.
But I think with Unai Emery and Monchi bringing these young, talented players, they know they can still develop under Unai. And it gives the team a long-term plan for the future. And we're not thinking of the here and now. But we're going to have a long-term vision. So I want to talk about the next talking point. So we're playing West Ham, first Premier League game of the season. I'll ask both of you this question. So what starting lineup do we expect for the first game of the season?
Go on, Ben.
I've written so. I've gone with Olsen in goal. No, I'm kidding. Emmy Martinez. Gone with Cash, Powell, Konza, and Maatsen. Onana and Tielemans in midfield, and then Rodgers and McGinn, and then I've gone Watkins and Bailey.
That's a good lineup, that is. Well, you can all think, I'll re-side that as well.
Fair enough.
And also, you got Morgan Rogers. The other thing I might go with, I'll probably go with that. Morgan Rogers, and maybe, you don't know, Ross Barkley could be in there. Depends.
Yeah. I'd love watching Rodgers, though. I think he's a joy to watch, and he's been being so young. Yeah, brilliant player, big ceiling.
You know what Morgan Rogers reminds me of? Jacob Ramsey. He's very similar.
Yeah.
Good Morgan Rogers, last season, we signed him from Middlesbrough. I think Monchi always knew and Emery what sort of player he was.
Yeah.
I think the new season, Morgan Rogers would probably be our stand-up performer.
Yeah, absolutely. I just love, he loves a run at a player. He likes getting in behind. He can have a shot from distance. He's just a very exciting player.
He's very direct. He drives the team forward. He's got so much pace. And even his dribbling skills. So it's a bargain, 15 million. Yeah, bargain. I think still Morgan Rogers is only going to get better. We haven't seen the best of him yet either.
No, so I look for him in that starting lineup. Absolutely.
Yeah, Justin, what team in the lineup are you expecting?
Yeah, I think Ben's pretty much nailed it, to be honest. The only question marks really were, does he go with Luca Dean at left back? It does seem Moreno. I don't know what's going to happen with that left back berth, whether one of the three of them, well, one of the two of the sort of starters from last season are going to go. Will Matson be ready to start? I think, it's a tough place to go in at West Ham. We started off with a hard away game last year and we saw what happened there.
We've got a great record there.
We haven't got a bad record at West Ham, to be
fair. More draws.
Yeah. I just think it depends on how Emery looks to sort of attack that game. Will he start Barkley in the double pivot, maybe with Onana, and then maybe look to play sort of four central midfielders sort of in the box formation that we've seen a lot last season when our best form was last season when we have Kamara, Louise, McGinn and Tielemans. That was, fantastic run of results. Can we replicate that with Onana, Barkley, Tielemans and McGinn? But then that means you're leaving out either a Bailey or a Rodgers. But, they're all good problems to have, aren't they? But I think, Rodgers just, playing himself for me to the starting 11. Bailey's probably been a little bit quieter in pre-season, not to say, he won't start and be as dynamic as he has been, for the last sort of few months at Villa. He's been phenomenal. Certain players pick themselves, don't they? Ollie Watkins should be fine. McGinn probably will play as captain. Mm-hmm. I think Onana has to play because he's really the only proper single, number 6 we've got in the squad currently. And I think the two centre-halves play, Councillor and Pau. So, yeah, there's one or two questions, but I think, Ben's 11 probably is pretty much nailed on, I would think.
That's the strongest team we could probably pick as well.
Yeah, argue, would Barkley get into the strongest 11 at the moment? I don't know. I think it all depends, as I say, how he views West Ham and how he views their threat. If he thinks they're going to be a real threat, he might, leave one of either Rodgers or Bailey out and play more of a defensive player in there, with a Tielemans or a Barkley maybe. Or he might just, choose violence and go for all three of them up front, sod it, which we've seen before.
Well, we're with West Ham as well. That's a decent first fixture. It could be a lot worse.
Yeah, tough place to go. They've recruited very well this summer, haven't they? And I think they'll be looking to finish comfortably in the top half, probably pushing European places. I think that's where their aspirations will be this season. So,
Yeah,
maybe we can catch them cold first game and get off to a flyer.
that's a good West Ham. They've got Giant Lopetegui, isn't it? Is that their
Lopetegui's the
manager?
manager, yeah.
Lopetegui, yeah.
Yeah.
Ex-Wolves.
I didn't think he did that well at Wolves, to be fair, considering his
No,
reputation.
and also he
bottled
walked
it,
out
didn't he?
the club.
Walked out.
Yeah.
Yeah, totally bottled it. When you look at what happened to them after he left, he did really well, didn't he?
Well, actually, do you think what's the score going to be?
Ooh, put me on the
Against
spot,
West Ham?
Chad. Why don't you? Crikey.
Yeah.
I think we're going to beat him. Why change the
I'm
habit?
going to go 2-1.
I'll take that.
Ben, what would you say for that game?
I think we'll make a statement. Let's go 4-0.
Well, everyone, we've come towards the fun bit of the show. I'm going to be giving the Premier League predictions and the new season predictions, including the final Premier League title, major trophies, which teams are going to win. So, guys, it took me about a week to do this. So I'm prepared well for it. So I'll read it to you. Let's get the Premier League title up on the screen. I'll have a little look. So I'll read it to you then. So I'll go first. Manchester City champions. Arsenal second. Then I'll go third. The mighty Aston Villa. I've gone fourth. Tottenham Hotspur. Fifth, Liverpool. Sixth, Man United. Chelsea seventh. Then we've got eighth, Newcastle United. Ninth, Crystal Palace. I think 10th, West Ham United. Brighton 11th. 12th, Brentford. 13th, Fulham. 14th, Bournemouth. 15th, Everton. And the next one, my granddad won't be very happy with me about this. I got Wolves 16th. Sorry, Grandad. Do we get to the next link? You can scroll up on my iPad. Then we got 17th, Ipswich Town. So Ipswich fans will be pleased with me. I've got 18th, Leicester City. Relegation. 19th, Nottingham Forest. Relegation. Then again, Southampton. Relegated at the bottom of the table. And Southampton fans, I'm not going to love what I just said. They're not going to like what I just said. So, what's your make of the Premier League title, guys?
So I did a top four, bottom three of my own, if you want me to go through them.
You go through yours. I'll not hear yours, Ben.
Well, and then I've gone City winning the league, Arsenal second. I've gone for Chelsea third. I quite like their manager, and I think there's not as big of an expectation on them this season. And
That's
I've gone
interesting.
fourth. I've gone the Villa, and then bottom three. I've gone Ipswich, Southampton, and Nottingham Forest.
That's good. I like it, Ben. And Justin, what about you?
Yeah, I was just looking at yours. I think it's a pretty decent crack at it, to be honest. I think, I'd love to see Villa in third. I think that would be wonderful. The likes of Spurs, can they push a little harder? Liverpool, what's going to happen with them with Arne Slot going in there? I think it's very brave pushing Chelsea into the top three, Ben. Very brave. It's a brave call. I think the players are there. I think we saw that at the end of last season that Pochettino was starting to get a tune out of some very good players there. I don't know. I just worry the way that they go about their business at Chelsea, and I think if it starts badly, I think it could fall apart for him. He's going to have a lot to carry on very inexperienced shoulders there. I mean, could it work? Yes. I don't doubt that they've got some really good players. Newcastle. Are they going to have a better season now they've not got Europe? I don't
Could be
know.
interesting.
I think the bottom probably more or less picks himself. I think it's very difficult to come out of the Championship nowadays and stay up, isn't it? So I think if any of the three that come up stay up, they've done very well. But I think that the ones that are currently in the Premier League, I think Forest are the ones that could be in big trouble because I can see their manager being the first sacked as well.
I thought actually, Dustin Forest have been struggling.
Yeah.
Yeah, Justin, what do you make of me choosing Man City to win the league?
I think the biggest problem they're going to have next season is when eventually these charges hit, and I would think it's sort of looking like it could be halfway through the season. So, still rumours that the manager, it could be his last season there as well. You've already seen the likes of the keeper. I think he looks like he's staying now, but there's one or two of the better players that are starting to think about maybe moving on now. So I think it's can they win a fourth title in a row? Yes. But I have a sneaky feeling that it could be Arsenal's year this year.
Well, the reason why I picked Man City is why I picked Guardiola because they've got the experience and know how to do it, I think. That's the only reason why I went with Man City.
Yeah, I don't disagree, to be honest. I think, we know that. We know what they are. We know what they're all about. They've definitely got the personnel. But I don't know. I just think it's someone else's turn this year.
Yeah, well, I'm going to read to you what trophies are going to be won. So, obviously, Manchester City, champions of the Premier League. I'm going with FA Cup, Arsenal. Then you're going to like the next one, Carabao Cup. Carabao Cup, Aston Villa. Emery's going to get Villa their first trophy in 28 years. Then I've got Europa League. I've gone for Olympiacos. Champions League, which I just missed out. Champions League, I think Manchester City. And then the Conference League, I've got Fiorentina. Yeah, Ben, have you got any of yours down about trophies?
Yeah, I've got some of the trophies. So for the FA Cup, I've got City. For the League Cup, I've got United. And for the Champions League, I've got Real Madrid.
Nice one. That's not a bad shout. What about you, Justin? What's your trophy predictions?
Yeah, I think I predict it every year, so you won't be surprised. Villa are going to win the FA Cup.
Oh, that'd be great. That'd be amazing.
I'll keep predicting it until it happens. It could take a while, but it could happen at some point. So I'll be right one season.
And what about what Champions League?
It's a tough one, isn't it? I think maybe someone like Bayern Munich. I think that could maybe, we saw a little bit of a difference last season with obviously Dortmund getting to the final, but maybe a Bayern Munich. Be nice for someone else to win it, wouldn't it?
Well, also going back to what I said about Olympiacos, the Europa League, because their manager. What's their manager's name? Olympiacos. That Mendilibar, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's got a good record. He won the Europa League with Sevilla. That's the reason why I went with Olympiacos. Then I got Conference League. Because they come really close, Fiorentina. Last season, but they always seem to be up there, I think. But yeah, well, I really enjoyed this thing. Both your predictions. Well, before we finish, look at some comments. And also, by the way, in the comment section, please let me know, everybody at home, your season predictions. I'll just drop it in the comments. Yeah, so let's look at a comment tonight. I got one off my dad. Yeah, I got Anthony Williams. What a great podcast, Chad Williams. Keep up the great work. Up the villa. Yeah, up the villa, Dad. Thank you for that. Well, guys, thank you for a great show. You look both of you have been brilliant guests. Well, I'm going to wrap this episode up. Thank you everyone for watching. If you enjoyed this podcast, remember to make sure to subscribe. If you haven't, give me the thumbs up and give it a share. Even leave us a review on Spotify, and that really helps as well. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section. Thank you so much, Justin and Ben, for your time.
Thanks, Chad.
No problem at all, mate.
I'm going to finish off this episode with Up the Villa.
Up the Villa.